Have you ever wanted to start your very own internet radio station, but you didn't know how much money it was going to cost or how much time it was going to take up? I think I can confidently say everybody watching this has thought to themselves, man, if I was in charge, I would totally do this, this, and this. Well, on an internet radio station, you totally can. So Nikki Darling is in the process of launching her very own radio station after she was let go from her recent gig due to COVID cuts. So I wanted to sit down with her and kind of pick her brain about the whole process of launching an internet radio station. So I want to know cost to me, what equipment I'm going to need, how much money I'm going to make, and how much time in my day this is actually going to take up if I decide to do it. That's this week on How to Radio. Tell me about why you started an internet radio station.
I really think it's where this transition, this paradigm shift of the radio industry is going. And, COVID hit and I ended up losing my position of where I was in commercial radio. And I was like, but I love radio so much. And do I want to uproot my life and try and find another radio gig and move, or what is it that I really want to do? And I had the opportunity to figure that out. And I just went, okay, well, I'm in a really unique situation where I can just try this out for a while.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of research and went, okay, I really think this is something that could work. And me being somebody who's been doing radio professionally for almost 20 years, I think I could do it right.
I know I've always wanted to start an internet radio station just because, doing radio for so long, you're like, I want full control. I want to see what I can do. I want to program the music and I want to do all this stuff. But then you realize that's everybody's job. And then you have a job on top of that for most of us. And so it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than we think, right?
It is a lot of work because when you work at a company, right, you work for a radio company, you're you're the talent and you do remotes and you maybe are a program director and that's your little bubble of a job. And then there's other people who do sales. There's other people who do the business aspect. There is the accountant. When you do a radio station, an internet radio station, those are all your jobs.
When starting a radio station on the internet, first of all, what is an internet radio station for those that don't know?
It can be a lot of different things, but it's essentially a stream that streams on the internet that will run 24/7 if you want it to. I mean, you set the parameters of how and what it, and that's the number one, actually. That's number one on my list is pick a format.
Okay.
Because do you want to do talk? Do you want to do music? Do you want to do balance, talk and music? So you have to figure out what kind of radio station that you want. And it's going to be on the internet. So it's going to be accessible to everybody across the globe.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you want. So you could set, like I said, you could set the parameters like, hey, I just want this to be in my town. I could want it to be in my region. I can want it to be in the United States. Because later on in my list, you have to know the laws, the licensing laws. So the licensing is different in the United States and Canada than it is in international law.
So I've got the name. I know what I want to do. What do I do to start the station?
You pick your format and then you pick your demographic just like you would any other radio station. And then, like you said, you already had a name. So you're focusing on a brand. So I had, Bear on Air is my brand, bearonair.com. And it's that tells you absolutely nothing about what's going to be on the radio station.
That could go anyway. Yeah, that's true.
So my brand has nothing to do with the product, right? And that has to go back to, I started a production company when that's kind of the umbrella to all this. So it's Darling Productions. And the tagline to my production company is, are you a product or are you a brand? Like, your brand really has nothing to do with your product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the face of what you're putting out there. It tells you, what it is, that the style and the attitude of who you are and what you're putting out there. You really have to pick a service provider where you're actually going to host the stream.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different things to take into consideration when you're picking a service provider. So it's like, how much money do you want to spend? So is this just a hobby, or is this going to be like your day job, or do you want it to make money? So not every service provider allows you to monetize your stream. So that's something that you want to take into consideration.
What are you averaging just for that, just for the service? Like, what did you find that the price is?
It really depends on certain different things. So it will depend on your TLH, which is total listening hours. So and there's a certain kind of calculation about how many people listen, how long they listen, and then throughout the course of the month.
And that affects how much you have to pay?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So the more
So if you're really successful and you're really good at it, they're going to take more money from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's tiers. Everything's tiers, just like everything else. So the more successful you are, the more TLH you need to pay for on your tier. And also, if you monetize your station, you are going to pay more for that service, and also for knowing the law. So just like FM or AM station, well, more FM, you have music licensing. So there are the big three licensors, the BMI, ASCAP, and Sound Exchange. So you can either pay quarterly for those yourself, which is very expensive.
Okay. Yeah. What's the price? Have you looked into it? What's the price for those?
Yeah, well, they vary. So I think Sound Exchange is the most expensive, and it's like $250 a quarter.
Okay. Yeah. That's more than I want to pay. Yeah.
Right. So there are service providers. So since they get them in big batches, they get a deal. So you get the music licensing under their license.
Okay.
So these are all things that you want to take into consideration when picking your service provider. And do they handle distribution? So do they help with a music player? Do they have an app? Or are you going to have to set up your own app? Or are you going to have to set up your own music player? So these are all features.
So some of the services do offer like apps then?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's what I would want, but it sounds expensive.
I went with Live 365.
Okay.
That's my service provider. And I pay them $100 a month.
And what does that $100 cover?
So it allows me to monetize the station. Okay. They have an ad monetization program. So they get advertisers, and then they place ads on your station a minimum of 4 minutes per hour.
Oh, interesting.
And then depending on how many listeners you have, depending on your TLH, the more listeners you have, the more money you make off of their overall ad algorithm.
And do they add more ads if you get more money?
I can add as many minutes an hour as I want. So okay, it's a minimum 4 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So you can make more money. So just like radio, you obviously they all start with a 500,000 songs in a row, and then when they need to make money, they go, oh, by the way, we're going to throw in 8-minute stop sets 4 times an hour. So you could do that if you wanted to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got the service, you pick the service. Now
it comes with licensing.
Okay.
Comes with licensing. And then it gives me, like right now, I have low TLH because I'm just starting, but if I wanted to tier up, I could. And the main thing about your service provider is you want to make sure is easy, because we're talking about, educating the listener. Right now, they're used to just going into their car and turning on their radio and having the presets there, right? So educating them into this transition of maybe not just listening to the radio, but also having this internet radio station. So it has to be easy. And Live 365 makes it super easy. They have their own app. So I didn't have to build an app. And you can go on to Live 365, search for Bear on Air, Bear on -air, set it as a preset. And then every time you open that app, that preset's going to be right there. And all you have to do is tap it and it's right there. And it's already on Alexa. So, oh, my Alexa's going to come on. So if I go, hey, Alexa, play Live 365.
You were listening to Bear on Air. Would you like to resume?
Yes.
Playing Bear on Air on Live 365.
That's pretty cool.
Stop.
Yeah. I don't got the rights for that, Alexa.
So once you have that, you have to think about your equipment, just like anything else. Just like if you were going to start a regular radio station, obviously you're not going to have as much equipment, but you need equipment. Obviously,
that's another question that I've had. Like, can't I just put it on the internet and just tell it to play? Or do I need something open? Like, do I need a laptop or do I need a computer that's running this and dedicated to this?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
You do need a laptop, to be able to do the programming. But you don't need a dedicated laptop because everything is, once it's in there, it's all on their servers.
Oh, good. Okay.
Which is wonderful.
Okay. So what kind of equipment are you talking about then?
I'm an audio geek, so I want all my audio to sound good. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just going to pluck music out of nowhere. I'm going to kind of process my music and make sure it sounds good before I actually input it into the radio station.
That's okay. So are you getting your own music then? Or does the service that you're going through provide a list for you?
Nope. You have to get your own music.
Interesting. So that could cost.
Yes, that's part of your cost. Yeah. Some people have, lots of music.
I got 4 terabytes. So if you ever need anything, let me know.
It'd be good to know a couple months ago.
Sorry. You always, if you have DJ friends, hit up your actual DJ friends. They have terabytes. So that's the way to do it.
And if you're going to go live, then you want to have some broadcast quality, at least at home. Okay. And our mutual friend, Chris Cruz,
dropped. Damn it.
He's awesome. And I love his video, his video series also.
He doesn't have one. Don't even look at it.
Well, he has a video about how to have an audio broadcast quality setup at home for less than $1,000. Mm-hmm. And I literally watched that video and ordered exactly what he suggested on
So it's all his fault, is what you're saying. If it goes bad, it's all Chris's fault.
Yeah. I didn't even tell him that either. I was like, there was a part of me that was just a little too proud to be like, I completely ripped off your at-home setup.
Hey, whatever works, man. Like if he did all the work for you, then that's what these YouTube channels are for. Do you have to music direct? Like, do you have to get the program to organize the music? And what program is that?
That's the fun part. Yeah. How cool. Yes, that's why we do radio, right? So you get to pick, this goes full circle. We picked our format. We picked our demographic. You want to do throwback hip hop and R&B. You're going to pick the music that you want. So you're going to pick all your music, get it uploaded, make sure it sounds good, it's in the right format, and you're going to be in metadata hell for a little while. More songs you upload, the more metadata you have to upload, right? Because that's the one thing about being online. That's how they track. So you have to have all of the album art, the album name, what year it was, all that stuff. And then you get to categorize it. But you get to categorize it whatever way that you want to categorize it, just like you are a program director or a music director at a radio station.
Yeah.
So if you want to categorize it with songs by girls with big butts, Like that
It's
could
my
be a
favorite
category for
category,
you, right? That would be your category. That could be a category for you.
Okay, and it just
Yeah,
rotates once every, twice an hour.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you get to do that. So you make your categories and then you make your clocks and then you schedule.
Do we have to choose the times that it's running, and does it cost more to run longer?
No,
Okay.
no.
So if I wanted to
Yeah.
do 24 hours, it would be the same price as me doing it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have to decide if you're going to go live and you have that equipment. You need what they call a multi-OS streaming tool.
Okay.
And that allows you to turn your computer or laptop into a line in
Okay.
for audio. And then it takes that audio and puts it into like an ice cast to go into your radio station.
Okay. And can I voice track?
Depends on your service provider.
Oh, okay. So like some of them don't offer you the chance to pre-record breaks and insert those.
Yeah, but you can always pre-record into audio files
Oh, okay.
and then just place the audio files where you want.
That
So
makes sense.
it's a type of voice tracking, but not the kind that we're traditionally used to.
So let's talk about the reason we would want to do this. Money. So how are you going to make money off of this?
Yeah, there's a few different ways that you can make money. One, I was telling you, like Live 365 has that ad monetization program that they place ads in for. You have to opt into that program.
Okay.
So you can opt out of it if you want, and there will be no ads at all.
But you might as
then
well
you
get
don't.
the free money for now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest way is sponsors. So if you're out there and you could sell the name of the station, you could do top of the hour just like you would at a radio station. You could sell the studio sponsorship, like broadcasting from there. You could do all the sponsorships that you want. This is the great thing because nobody's going to tell you, no, you can't run that promotion.
What legally do I have to do to get a sponsorship? Like, can I just be like, hey, Bobby, give me $20 a month and we'll call it like the Bobby Studio? Or is there some sort of contract I have to draw up?
Well, if you're like me and you have a business, you turn it actually into a business, then you have to run everything through the business. You use a W-9 form, and then you have to like pay taxes on it.
Obviously, there's been a lot of cuts lately and a lot of people out of radio now that used to be in radio. Overall, to get started, because you haven't launched it yet, to get started, how much money are you into it now? And how much money do you expect to spend over the next year?
I'd say, okay, without the sponsors.
Yeah, without the sponsors, how much did you need to have? Even without the sponsors. Yeah, let's do that just because not everybody's going to have, sponsors. So how much without sponsors did you need to start the station?
I'd say you could start it for about $1,000.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Nikki. I think this is pretty good. Anything else that we need to know about starting a radio station? Obviously, you did the same thing. Like, you lost your job and you're like, you know what? Radio's the thing I want to do. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So any advice for anyone that wants to do the same thing?
I would say, just listen to the people who are supporting you. Like right now, Bear on Air I'm saying it's in beta mode. So I actually have reached out to a lot of the people who are asking, hey, like, Nikki, where are you? Where are you going to land? All those people who reached out to me when they didn't hear me on the radio anymore. And I said, hey, I'm working on this new internet radio station. Would you like to be a beta bear? And they're like, what is that? I'm like, well, I'll give you the back door into the stream. You listen to it for me and you give me your feedback. Now, who would ever do that on a commercial radio station? That never happens.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that really gets them involved in the process. And now they're emotionally invested. And that helps me because I'm literally just one person trying to get this off the ground. So that's that would be my biggest piece of advice, is just don't forget the people who have really supported you along the way. And it's going to be kind of a lonely process.
So where can we find you on social media, and give us the name of the, I guess the state. Well, we know the station. They'll give us the address to your station. Is that how you say that? How would you say that?
Yeah. So as of right now, it's bearonair.com.
Okay.
And right now you can put in your email, and I'll send out a big old email blast when the station is ready to launch. And I've been sending regular updates on that.
Okay.
If you want to read this article, and again, on the top 10 tips, the steps to starting an internet radio station, or read more about branding, I have darlingproductionsllc.com.
Okay.
And then all my other links are on nikkidarlingonair.com.